another BCN Presents workshop. We are so excited to be kicking off the year with just so many exciting workshops and presentations. And I am so excited, Tashina, to have you here. So let me just read now. Again, this is a very extensive bio, and I know, Tashina, you are going to share throughout this presentation, this workshop, many different things about you. But what I want to say is that Tashina is a certified holistic wellness coach, mindfulness leader, self-development success coach, and group coach. Tachina has done a lot of amazing things, over 800 videos on health and education on YouTube, 150 of which are in Spanish. I mean, Tashina's just really doing all the things. So I am so excited. We are going to be talking about, emotional intelligence and all of that good stuff. So without further delay, I am so excited, as I mentioned, to have you joining us and just presenting your valuable information to BCN. Oh, and before I continue, let me just quickly mention that if you're not familiar with Business Crossing Network, we are a membership network that basically provides a one-stop shop so that wherever you are on your business journey, you have the platform, the resources, the networks, the people, the tools, everything you need to succeed. So if you would like to find out more about BCN, I will be happy to share that at the end. And I am going to turn it over to Tashina. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I am so excited to be here and appreciate it. So this is my signature talk, the 4 stages of competence. And I've been able to give this on a stage of 1,200 people, give it at GM, at Comcast, and at many other business organizations. And I actually came across this concept when I was at General Motors, and it just was like a light bulb went on for me of why we get stuck. So you're going to be listening to this information from like 2 frameworks of like maybe you're trying to train someone, or when you're trying to learn anything new or train someone else. So with that, I'm going to go into my presentation, because I do have a PowerPoint presentation to share with you all. So again, we're talking about the 4 stages of competence. Get this out of the way. And how to avoid the pitfalls of the motions of working through the stages of learning. So again, just a little bit about me. I'm Tashina, your favorite holistic business and self-development speaker. And the reason why I have that holistic there, most of my clients currently are business owners or entrepreneurs, but I help them up-level their businesses without getting burned out. I tell people that I help turn chaos into clarity. So it doesn't matter if it's in your physical, mental, emotional, social spaces. While you are up-leveling your business, I'm going to make sure that you have the tools, that you're eating right, that you're exercising right, that you have tools to help you emotionally regulate while you're up-leveling your business. So as mentioned, I'm going to be with you guys once a month. I got lots of topics that I've been able to share in different spaces, like biohack your brain to reduce stress. I'm not going to read all of these to you. Some personality things like the 4 temperaments and the 5 languages of appreciation, time management, and a lot of other things. So I'll be seeing you guys once a month. So this is a concept that was created by a psychologist called Dr. Noel Birch. It was in the 70s that he discovered this. And this is the conscious competence model that we're looking at. And this is how, if you're going to learn anything new, from the kid that is trying to learn to tie his shoes, to you trying to learn a guitar, to you trying to do something new in your business, you're going to flow through this model. So it's called the hierarchy of competence. And where we start out is unconscious incompetence. And what does that mean? So when we think about the word conscious, that means being aware of something. When we think about the word incompetence, that is having the skills to complete something. So when we start something out, we're going to be unconscious incompetence. We're going to be unaware as well as unskilled when we start any new task, which is equal to wrong intuition. We then move to conscious incompetence. We start reading all of the things, we become more aware of what's needed, but we don't yet have those skills. Conscious incompetence, which is the wrong analysis. We then move into conscious competence, which is the right analysis, which means we are aware and we are still thinking about it at a conscious level, what we need to do, but we now have most of the skills to do that, which is right analysis. We then move on to unconscious competence, which is right intuition. So we have the skills, and those skills are so ingrained that they're at the unconscious level. They're below our awareness. We can now do them almost automatically. So that's what we're going to flow through. So again, these 4 stages of stage 1, unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know. Stage 2, conscious incompetence. You know what you don't know. Stage 3, conscious competence. You know how to do it, but you have to think your way through it. Stage 4, unconscious competence. You can now do it without thinking. You just know what to do. So why is it that it's so hard to complete the things that we start? Well, from an emotional standpoint, there's 2 things that are going to happen. So when we start in the unconscious incompetence, we don't know anything. So we are not going to have any type of negative emotions at the beginning. But as time goes on, as you can see at the bottom line there, and as our consciousness, our awareness increases, yet our skills increase maybe at a slower rate, you see that we start to have resistance to doing these things. And then as we move into the conscious competence phase, where we do have some skills, but it still takes us so much effort to think about it, to do it, we still have a lot of resistance. And then time continues to go on. We move into the unconscious competence phase, and that's where we no longer have resistance. So if we have resistance, it's difficult for us to complete the things. Now, what happens to our stress level at each stage? So our stress level shoots up when we reach the conscious incompetence. So again, the unconscious incompetence, we just made the decision, I'm going to learn the guitar. I'm going to do this new thing. And it's ignorance is bliss is there. We don't know all the things that we have to do, so there's no stress. But the second we start to get all of this information about all the things that we're going to do, we put the guitar away because we're like, I thought I was going to be a rock star, and now it's going to take hours and hours a day, and our stress level shoots up. And this is another place where we can fall out. When we are trying to train someone else, or when we're trying to learn something new, we literally want to move through the conscious incompetence phase as fast as possible and get to that conscious competence phase. Once we're in the conscious competence phase, that stress level starts to drop down dramatically until it's virtually non-existent when we're in the unconscious competence phase. So how we should flow through the model. We're always going to start at unconscious incompetence. We're going to get some information. We're going to up-level our awareness, and we're going to start up-leveling our skills, moving into the conscious incompetence phase. So we're going to have to make a lot of mistakes. We're going to be incompetent, but we keep practicing things, and that will move us into the conscious competence phase, where we now have more skills. We then do more and more practice, and we reach the unconscious competence phase, which is when we hit our goal. And then what we want to do is start a new goal. Now, where is it that we then get stuck? Well, we can actually get stuck in the unconscious incompetence phase if we have a denial of usefulness of skills. So we need to be aware of the stress and the mental resistance that will be forthcoming on the horizon. We could get stuck at the conscious incompetence phase because our stress level is extremely high and resistance starts increasing. Analysis paralysis can then set in. We could get stuck at the conscious competence phase because resistance can still be high, and we need to balance the amount of effort and hard work needed without burning out. And then as a leader or a trainer, we can actually get our team stuck at the unconscious competence phase because there's difficulty in explaining to others because we now perform without thinking. Or we're just not moving forward in our own lives because we stay here and don't make a big goal. Unconscious competence feels good. It equals the comfort zone. So how do we get help to move through these stages? So in the unconscious incompetence, we need encouragement and all the things that are being done right and tactful guidance towards our areas of growth so that we can increase in our awareness as well as our skills to move faster through the conscious incompetence phase. In the conscious incompetence phase, we need consistent affirmation that this is a normal part of the process. Consistent confirmation that practice will increase knowledge and skill. We want to, as much as possible, use a system. Focus first on systems. And what really is a system? It's really the framework of your good habits. So having someone that can teach you the good habits in order to complete this task or this process will be extremely helpful. In the conscious competence phase, we need to provide as much support and leverage as possible and provide additional affirmation. And in the unconscious competence, we want to use tools, simple systems, one-on-one coaching, and regular education to make sure things are not missed and or if we are training or coaching someone else. So why the simple system is so important? Well, my resistance is now low, but I'm trying to coach those whose resistance is high. My stress is lower, but I am trying to coach those whose stress is high. I've internalized some skills, many of which were prior to this learning process, and I don't know how to articulate them clearly at times. It is now easy for me, and many times I keep saying it is easy, but it isn't easy for the person asking. If it was easy for them, they wouldn't be asking for the help. And again, this can be if we are coaching or teaching someone else, or it can also be when we're learning something. So if we're going through some type of online training or we're listening to our mentor and we see all these people doing these things effortlessly, we have to remember and not give up on ourselves because we're going to have some stress. We're going to have some resistance in doing the thing. And they also possibly have some skills internalized that they can't communicate clearly to us. So when we're learning a new thing from someone else, we want to remember this and keep this in mind for ourselves so that we're not too hard on ourselves as we continue the learning process. So, examples.
It was good.
Someone's not on mute. Can everyone go on mute?
Social media.
Hello, hello.
Social media? What's that? Hold on.
Okay, so I wanted to give some examples of how this works in the real world. And so here are some examples of skills that I possess as an entrepreneur. I have skills in connecting. I'm very social, have really good networking skills, have soft skills in relationship building, such as I know body language, I can read body language very well. I have a lot of cultural training because I speak another language and actually took international marketing and international business. I have skills in booking and promoting meetings because I've worked in the automotive industry and had to have automotive industry meetings where if we didn't book a meeting from a meeting, a plant would actually shut down. I'm really good at organizing things like weddings and showers and social events, presenting the opportunity. So that's what I do as a coach in order to get clients. I have 25 plus years of presentation skills, previous minor success in network marketing, 25 plus years in door-to-door Bible preaching. Other skills that I have, following up, 15 years in materials and supply chain management, 25 plus years revisiting individuals in door-to-door Bible preaching. In training and coaching, I've been a training coordinator in every automotive position, one-on-one coaching and door-to-door Bible preaching. In goal setting, planning, and time management, Every September, I set goals, and I've usually worked 2 jobs my entire adult career. And in personal development, I have 20 plus years. When I was 19, I was in therapy at the time, and I decided to start my own personal journey of personal development. So it's something that I've just already naturally done. So how this actually plays out at times and things I need to remember when I'm coaching other people. Here's a specific example. So this is my library. This is actually not as big as my library is currently because I now use Audible for most things. And last year I went through, I think, 40 books on Audible. So this is my library before a couple years ago. And I've read the majority of these books. So you can see some of the books are double stacked. Some of them are religious books, but there's a lot of books here that I've read in my life. Personal development is the thing that I do, and I do it very well. So this is how it can play out in miscommunication and training. I say, read this book, which is easy for me, operating in unconscious competence. My trainee, the person that I'm coaching, my child doesn't read the book. And I say, why do they never listen to me? The thing is, it's easy for me operating in unconscious competence, but they are operating at a different level. They are at one of the lower levels that we talked about, where their resistance may be very high and their stress is high. So it's my job to understand that and to know that it's possible that I have to remind them over and over again, especially if they're an adult that probably came out of college and said, I'm so glad I will never read another book again, as opposed to me, who goes through a book once every 2 weeks, 1 or 2 weeks. Another example, we have a business and we're trying to assist someone, and we say something like, you should try building online, which is easy for me operating in unconscious competence. If you're friends with me and you follow me on social media, you know that I'm mostly maxed out on Facebook. I have over 6,000 friends on LinkedIn, and I have over 10,000 on Instagram. It's something that over the past 4 years, I have learned to be fairly good at. My trainee, who's just starting out on Instagram, decides to post one graphic about their business on Instagram. And I think, are you serious right now? What don't they get? That's not how you do it. So again, it's my job as the individual that's training them to give them very specific directions, to give them perhaps sheets of training on it, because they need to understand the system, because they're operating at a lower level. Their stress level is high, their resistance is high, and they need a lot of affirmation and details in order to know exactly what to do. So, summary of why you may be stuck. So you are stuck in analysis paralysis and are thinking about the thing rather than acting and doing the thing. Another reason could be because of the effort and hard work involved in the conscious competence phase, you stop doing some of the tasks that got you where you are. So remember, when we're in the conscious competence phase, that means that we are now completely aware of what we need to do, but we still have to think our way through it, and we have the skills to do it. And this is really important for us to remember as an entrepreneur, because this is a lot of times the thing that has us up and down. We don't have a consistent schedule. We don't have systems and automation in place. And so the effort that we put out is inconsistent because it still takes effort for us to get our clients. It still takes effort for us to put in business. So again, the faster that we can get those systems, that automation, that support that we need in place, that will help us not be inconsistent, because we know we'll still have some resistance in this conscious competence phase if we don't have that in place. Another reason, if you're working with a team and your team is getting stuck, you are operating at unconscious competence and are not taking the time to walk people step by step through a system so that they can reach the level that you are at. So if that's the case, remember, people follow your lead if you show them up to about 50%. But if it looks easy for you, or like it is something you are naturally good at, they may think they cannot do it and not try. So, massive action is always the key to get out of these stages. Again, that first area where we can get stuck is when we continue to think about the thing, to think about the thing, to think about the thing, but we're in analysis paralysis. So to move through the unconscious incompetence phase, it requires massive imperfect action. If we're going to move through the conscious incompetence phase, if we're going to build up our skill set, that's going to require massive inspired action. And if we're going to move through the conscious competence phase, that requires massive intentional action, clear direction, those systems, and that automation and support that we talked about. Now, how can we alleviate some of these? We know right off the bat that we're going to have some stress. We know that we are going to have some resistance. How can we eliminate and minimize some of that? Well, that is one of the main things that I do with my business clients, helping them work on their mindset. That's when it was mentioned at the beginning, that's what I help with when it comes to this empowerment, self-development, and success coaching that I do with business owners and entrepreneurs. So our bodies and our minds are extremely powerful. And a lot of times we're stuck because we are replaying old patterns. And we can actually do some unconscious reprogramming to help to reduce that stress and to help us move through those. So one of the things that I recommend is power posing. This is very simply just putting yourself in a powerful position for a few minutes before you have to do something to reduce your overall stress level. Most of my clients are taught how to do an aromatherapy mental reset. This is something very easy. When used correctly, aromatherapy is one of the best ways to affect your emotions because it actually changes your brain waves. It floods your brain with positive chemicals. And another technique that I teach my clients is to use havening touch therapy, which is a type of touch therapy. Again, this is another technique. It uses deep breathing as well as the aromatherapy does as well. And it changes your actual brain waves. It floods your brain with positive chemicals, thereby reducing your stress levels so that you have less resistance and you can move through those stages faster, do some of those things that you don't feel like doing easier. The other thing that I do with my clients is conscious reprogramming. I have a system that I use called Strength Finders. That's where I start business professionals. I've done this several times with dozens of individuals in the automotive industry. It's a 12-week program, and we start with the Strength Finders test, which there's 34 different strengths, and the test narrows it down to your top 5. And then we use that information to, first of all, create a power statement that you consciously say to yourself every morning to remind yourself of your best skills. We then use that in order to build out your brand words, possibly for your business, use it to update information on your website, as well as anything else you need in order to program your business goals. And then, of course, using a coach, a mentor, being in masterminds where you can consciously talk about some of the difficulties you're having, the problems you're having, the stress you're feeling, the resistance, and get ideas and feedback. And that affirmation that we talked about is so important at every single step. I myself work with a coach. I believe everyone can benefit from having a coach or mentor. If you have a mentor at your place of work or you can find someone for free. By all means, do that. I personally have to hire a coach, and I believe that everyone can benefit from a coach. So I also just wanted to share with you a few testimonials from some of my clients. Again, the majority of them are business professionals or entrepreneurs or business owners, and they get a holistic approach. Some of them focus more on the emotional and mental side, some business, emotional, and mental, and some business, emotional, mental, and physical. But here's just a few testimonials. This is from an individual who is a professional in the supply chain industry. And he stated, Tashina is pleasant, engaged, and knowledgeable in the area of coaching. She helped me understand her personalized coaching approach. In addition to providing supporting materials, I have highly recommended friends request a complimentary session to see for themselves. And then this is an individual that went through my Strength Finders training. As someone focused on empowered growth, I've had my fair share of personality tests and training. Since I'm always on a healing path, I welcome potential for growth. What Tashina offers is beyond any personality test or development program I've ever seen. Her focus is not about, here's your strengths and weaknesses, so let's fix you. No, this is much more. This is about, here are your strengths and let's magnify them, leverage them, support you being the best, very best version of yourself you can possibly imagine, because here's what you're good at. That right there is powerful. So that was one of my clients, Dee Castelli, and she's a certified aroma freedom practitioner. And then I've worked with Tashina for almost a year and have firsthand experience with her coaching skills. She is amazing. It's one thing to know how to coach and to ask open-ended questions, but Tashina knows the best questions to ask. Frequently, she will ask a question that jumps our dialogue 3 to 5 questions ahead in an instant. She is extremely intuitive and gets to the heart of the issue very quickly. And as much wisdom she brings to the discussion, her primary goal is to get her client to discover their own solution. I would recommend Tashina in a heartbeat. Eric Walton, certified John Maxwell leadership coach. So, as I stated at the beginning, this is my signature talk. This is the one that I love to give to business organizations. I've given it at Comcast, at General Motors, and on stages of more than 1,200 people. There is no book to this, so I eventually would like to write a book. But if you'd like to understand how to use this in training, coaching, business settings, or understand a little bit more about it, the first link there was the only thing I really could find online, was a long article about the 4 stages of competence. You can find tons of 5, 10, 15-minute videos on YouTube. You can also find a few articles, but there isn't a book about it, which I think there should be. And putting it in practice, the books that I like the best, that just intuitively showed you how to put this in practice, is Coactive Coaching and Coactive Leadership. Now, here is how to connect with me. Again, I have close to 1,000 videos on YouTube, some of which are in Spanish, in all areas of wellness. So you can, I'd love for everyone who is here with joining me today, or who later watches the replay, to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Tashina Gonzalez. You can also follow me on Instagram and Snapchat at Sweet Canela 5. I post a lot of motivational things throughout the week, as well as I do lives. You can also follow me at Twitter at sweet_Canela. And then you can also see my business line. Text me anytime with any questions at 248-221-1545. And then my Facebook page, I also do weekly free educations via Zoom. And then my website. And that is it for today. So I will stop sharing and I will open it up to see if anyone has any questions or anything they would like to share, any experiences.
Tashina, I just want to say excellent. I enjoyed. It gave me some perspective.
Right.
I think I am conscious I'm at the stage where I have a lot of pushback. I know,
Yeah.
but it's hard to act sometimes.
Yep. Yeah. So if you want any tips, like one of the things that I love to do with people, so I do free 1 hour consultations. I think it's really, really important right now for everyone to just sit down with one person, whoever it is, and write down, what is my plan for 2022, right? You have to have that written out. And then, I always am giving tips to people of how to reduce their stress level when they're doing things. And there's so many things that you can do very, very easily. So, and again, I have videos and things on that, but it does make you feel better, right? Like when you understand this, you're like, okay, you can just have a sigh of relief because you understand, no, this is normal. I'm supposed to have this resistance. But now, what are we going to do to push through that resistance? What are we going to do to reduce that stress level? Because that's the only way you're going to move forward.
Thank you. I will take you up on that.
Yeah, definitely. So write down your goals. I genuinely and truly do free 1 hour consultations. And what I'm doing with people right now is just setting their 2022 goals. And I meet with twice as many people probably free than I have paid clients on a weekly basis. Anyone else? Oh, I can't hear you right now. I'm not sure why. I heard Katrina fine.
Okay, how about now? There we go. Yes, so I just want to say that it definitely, as Katrina was saying, it makes you really reflect, on just where you are, and you know again, like, just how to kind of frame what's happening around you. And also the fact that you offer the 1 hour free consultation, I don't know if people realize just how huge that is, because so many times to get, valuable time with a person, it's just like 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. So just appreciate what you're doing, because that's awesome.
Yeah, even from my own perspective too, like, so I somehow started out in this NFT space. Some people, that made sense in my head, and I had to remind myself that too. I'm like, in the NFT space, I am in the area of massive imperfect action. That's where I am in this, because I'm new in this. And if I try to think that I can do the stuff over here that I do when it comes to coaching, or what I do when it comes to training or speaking, I'm just going to get frustrated. So I have to accept the fact that here I'm in massive imperfect action. Over here, I'm in massive intentional action, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm back. Tashina, the other thing that was kind of an aha, and it's not really an aha because you know it, but you don't really think about it, is the mindset. That is, I realize what that is. It's like, it's a daily struggle. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what to do, but daily is like, you have to do X, Y, and Z. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
But it's a daily struggle. With your mindset, and I think I have a cure for it for myself. I think I figured that out.
Good. That's what it's about. It's I mean, that's what it's about. It's about awareness. So yeah. All right, anyone else? That's all I had to share for today. So thank you guys for being here.
Well, once again, thank you, Tashina, for joining us, for presenting. Again, I know that you are a BCN member, so I'm excited about just the continued things. And this is a series, so, we're going to be seeing more of you every month. We've got something exciting coming. So again, just thankful to have you. Those who are BCN members will get a copy of this video. And we just look forward to next month's topic and seeing more of you.